I'm Mark Seifter.
And I'm Linda Zayas Palmer.
And this is Arcane Mark. Welcome.
Hello, good to see you.
Today we're going to build an NPC alongside all of you in chat. And so before we do anything else in this Build an NPC workshop, we need you to come up with a concept. Now, this is our first workshop live on YouTube. Normally, if we were doing this on Twitch, we would then do some like random announcements while you were coming up with concepts, due to the fact that we would then cut it off of YouTube, and then just suddenly people would have concepts instantaneously when it came up on YouTube. But this time we're live on YouTube. That means that you can come up with your concepts right away, because we're not necessarily going to do large amounts of news here at the beginning. When you think of your concepts for an NPC, remember, concept can be as broad or as narrow as you want. It doesn't have to be super specific. It could even just be like an NPC to like show up in the castle in my game that is with level 5 PCs are going to a castle.
It could be a location or a role, an encounter type. It could be something that has to do with their mechanical abilities, things they're particularly good or particularly not good at.
It could be super specific, too.
Yeah, it could be about their personality or behavioral characteristics. It could be really anything that is true about this particular NPC. And then we will put all those concepts together into a vote, and whichever wins the vote, we will go from there as our core concept.
That's right. So I'm going to ping everybody on...
And let's check on...
Oh, wait, I didn't actually do an ad ping, so I'll do ad here.
Yep, and then go ahead and check in Twitch as well.
Okay.
Well, while we wait, I guess, is there any...
I mean, we are
news?
Waiting for ideas.
Since we're waiting for ideas?
So let's talk about some random announcements. So, in Roll for Combat news, Swarm Blood are coming up next by Jessica Redicup, and they are one of Steven's favorite ancestries that we've done the entire time. So you can check those out. Also, in just a couple of weeks, Battle Zoo Bestiary Elemental Storm Kickstarter is going to be live. So there's just a lot of things coming up in Roll for Combat land.
Hi Numba, welcome to your first live YouTube episode.
That's right. Welcome. So another thing that's news for the channel is that you can join now. That works. Everything worked. They had to send snail mail to here, and we have confirmed that the snail mail was sent. So, you can join and get access to some of the videos that go up early, before noon sometimes, depending on when they're put up. It can be randomly early.
Was it that flashed by quickly? Was that on Twitch that we had a comment?
Was what on Twitch? We did not have a comment on Twitch. We had 0 comments on Twitch. We had comments on the Let's Play Straya.
On the old Let's Play. Yeah, right, because you pulled that in. Okay, that was why I was confused when you were flipping around.
Other random news things just from recently.
There's the Iconics from on Paizo.com for the Iconic Samo.
Yep, there's a Starfinder 2nd edition playtest primer humble bundle that also has like lore for Starfinder 1st edition. I thought that was like known like a while ago, but they may not have had a Paizo blog for it. An organized play monthly update, some Pathfinder tokens for Foundry,
the Pathfinder character gallery, and some roundup of Gen Con news. So it looks like we did get some ideas while we were going through that.
Yes, I will put them into chat.
An alchemist that isn't shy about selling some illegal medicine, and an accountant for a criminal organization. Both great ideas with lots of legs. And I think also this helps to show that sometimes the concept can literally have the class in it, and sometimes the concept doesn't.
That's
but either way, this gives a good idea about what kind of role the character would have in the game world. Be happy to do a vote among those 2 ideas. And if anyone else has one, we can toss that in as well.
That's right. Does anyone have any other NPC concepts that you'd like to see built in the Build an NPC workshop?
Oh, here we have one last one. A high-level adventurer who tests newbies to make sure they're ready for adventuring. Awesome.
High-level adventurer who tests newbies for adventure.
And all three of those concepts are from Rohit. Thank you very much for bringing the concepts today.
That's right. It's like when Rico sometimes just fills things up with different concepts that are all mysteriously for Rico's Kingmaker game.
I wonder, it's like an 8th level NPC that would be appropriate to put in a stolen lands.
Kojo has one.
Kojo has an idea.
It is a cook who specializes in foods that heal people. So cook specializing in healing foods, working at Adventurer Tavern. All right.
You're working, let's see.
At Adventurer Tavern. No,
too many words.
Cook of healing foods.
Yes.
There we go. Instead of specializing it. We got this.
Yes.
All right, so vote for A, B, C, or
the
D.
Count of the concept.
Yes, it was breaking YouTube's character count to go beyond
Plus Ultra.
So, you can vote, put an A, B, C, or D in chat to see which one you want us to build right here, right now, on Build an NPC Workshop.
You vote for D.
All right, we've got 2 votes for D.
A second vote for D.
Let's see what the other voters think.
Indeed.
Indeed, we may be.
You see, there's someone having issue with payment info being from a different country with joining. That's something we can probably work out later on.
I don't think we
Discord
can do anything about that. Probably that sounds like
I don't know.
That sounds like it's a YouTube thing.
I don't know if we might be able to help troubleshoot, but
yeah,
I'm not sure. So we have 2 votes for D and 1 vote for A. That's gonna be D having it unless we get another vote coming in here for A. So that would be either the cook or the illegal alchemist.
That's right.
Medicine.
But at this point, we do have votes from pretty much everyone who posited an idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that no more votes will come in. So it looks like we've got a cook who cooks healing foods and works at Adventure Tavern. Maybe it's the same tavern with the tavern keeper who secretly is... wait.
We got another vote for A.
Oh, we've got another vote for A.
So, we have... Can you repost the
So it is an alchemist who sometimes sells illegal medicine. Actually, I'll just put in...
Put that in there.
I'll just put in only A and D because...
Put in only A and D because they're the ones
that are tie-breaking. So, you can vote for... an alchemist who sometimes sells illegal medicine or a cook of healing foods working at Adventure Tavern.
Will you be our tie-break, Faceless?
Or we could do a cook of healing foods who works at an Adventure Tavern and sometimes sells illegal healing foods.
Oh, well, but no, there's a Faceless got to vote. Alchemist who sometimes sells illegal medicine.
All right, there we go. So we're going for an alchemist NPC who sometimes sells illegal medicine.
So... one of the things that we're going to need to refine in this concept is roughly what level they are, because that's going to have a huge impact on what kind of powers
and there's another
vote.
That was Zekron again. But
okay.
yeah.
So, okay. We're going to need to refine what kind of level they are so that we can try to figure out what kind of powers they're going to be able to bring to bear.
All right. And if we do a DA combination where they kind of like their day job is that they cook healing alchemical foods for the Adventure Tavern, but then they also secretly sell illegal wares.
Yeah, and this illegal medicine could go in a lot of different ways. You know, is the medicine illegal because it is, because it is harmful in some way, or is the medicine illegal because it's getting around some kind of like blockade and they're actually trying to help people?
So the concept that we saw was definitely stated to be illegal medicine because it was quote directly from chat. It could have said illegal substances, illegal drugs, illegal chemicals, a lot of other things, but it was illegal medicine, which to me makes it sound like it is like in the dosage that is used, at least in some ways, for conditions. Now, it could be addictive.
Yeah.
but that at least in some ways is treating something if it's an
So we
illegal
have
medicine.
a vote for level 5, so you could plausibly place them in a village. That
Okay.
seems legit. Does anyone else have an opinion on their level?
So, yeah, if you have any other level ideas, put them in chat, and we will combine those to decide what level the NPC might be. And, yeah, Rohit was indeed thinking about things like certain drugs for certain conditions being illegal for a variety of reasons. Possibly, like, you have some evil government like Cheliax that doesn't want people to be able to take those drugs.
So it could be someone trying to stop people from accessing certain medication, or, like, maybe there's, like, a Healers Guild cartel that's like, we're the ones who control, so only the people who are rich can receive.
So they could be chaotic good, to use a term that is not in the remaster, for example, in the sense that they're like the Robin Hood of selling treatment that people need, but under the table.
That given this cook thing, like maybe they also disguise their illegal medication as food. So it's like, oh yes, I'm just coming over here to deliver pastries, and it's like they just happen to also be medicinal, and the alchemist knows it, and the people buying it know it, but it slides under the radar there. Folks, we're talking about 6 for feat access.
Sure. It's an NPC, so we can kind of do whatever we want. But yeah, we can do level 6. That's no problem.
All right, so we have a level 6 alchemist.
They're a level 6 alchemically cook. Like, they're not going to be using the alchemist class from, say, Pathfinder 2. They're going to be a character who is an alchemical cook who focuses on healing food alchemical items, and some of which are illegally being sold.
So they're not going to be like, oh, I'm an alchemist, and this is how many like bombs I have or whatever, in that specific way. But they may have, like, you know, if you were more similar to the alchemist class, it might be like, here you have a pool of like a certain number of medicinal foods you can make per day, and they have like different effects.
All right, so this is telling me that we want to look at their ability modifiers in a certain way. So they're level 6. So we've got strength, we've got dex, we've got dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So obviously they're and this is our alchemical cook. Obviously, their intelligence is going to be their most important statistic here. Due to the fact
using that for their crafting.
They will exactly be using that for their crafting. So we can give them like a level 6. A 4 would be a moderate for a creature, but NPCs sometimes have lower stats, so we can just give them a 4.
So they can be more stats that are more similar to what a PC could have at that level.
That's right. So they probably are good in some ways at both wisdom and charisma for doing this under the table situation.
They're going to need some amount of deception for what we've crafting for the concept that we have here.
And so intelligence will cover us for the crafting, but I think their wisdom and charisma both have to be fairly reasonable for them to get away with this in the long term. So maybe they have 3 in both of those.
Yeah.
And then probably, especially if they're working with like these substances and it's not causing them too many issues, their constitution is not too bad. And they seem a little bit slippery, but their strength is probably pretty low because they're like an unassuming cook.
Sounds good.
So I'm putting them with strength 0, dexterity 2, con 2, intelligence 4, wisdom 3, charisma 3. For this concept. Let's see if anybody had different things in stats. Yeah, Rohit was saying that the physical ones are going to be lower, and I agree. They're all 3 physical attributes are lower than all 3 mental. The lowest of the 3.
This NPC is probably going to be someone that that would be like on the same side as your PCs.
Unless your PCs are the evil authorities.
Or, if they're against your PCs, the threat that they pose is less going to be a combat and more about a social challenge.
I agree.
So we don't need as high of combat.
I think perception-wise, they probably need to have decent sense motive against people who are trying to figure out when they say that they are there to buy the illegal stuff, is it a sting? And also just for taste testing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like the highest ever known.
So it could be like moderate-ish then.
Yeah, I think let's do like moderate +1.
So that would be 15.
Yeah. So we'll do 15 for moderate +1. So now, in terms
of other senses they might have, that's going to depend on their ancestry.
Let's figure out what ancestry they are.
Yeah.
So everyone suggested ancestry our cook alchemist can be in chat. Now, you don't just have to think about ancestries that you would find in a traditional fantasy fair. You could pick Orpok, the very related to chefs and alchemical chef, pig person ancestry from the Indigo Isles World Guide, which World of Battlezoo Indigo Isles. They would definitely do something like this. But what kind of ancestry do people think?
Maybe a little higher, as I'm sure that alchemical training involves a lot of near misses. They could only survive if they're quick and have good reflexes.
I actually agree. So that's why I put it at 2, and as well as con.
Yeah.
I didn't put them at just 0 or 1. I agree completely with Numbat on that. I figured that you need to have some near misses, and you might need to like expose yourself to the things. So it's only a little bit lower than the wisdom and charisma, and then strength is just all the way down.
Another possible like more stereotypical ancestry would probably be like a halfling.
Potentially a halfling for culinary, or a gnome for like
and also
making some
for
weird
like
stuff.
Someone who is like more likely to be trying to like use covert means to get around societal ills.
I could see a halfling or gnome. There's just a lot of like
really it could be
sprites could like to cook things, because sprites make like their weird like pixie dust stuff. Rohit says that goblin could be an example of something that could fit into that mold. I think you could make an argument for a lot of potential options here. Like really like an elf.
I could see an elf.
Dwarves are probably less likely than others.
Yes,
but you could still have a dwarf.
Like, Hearths loves tea. Like dwarves don't have to all play to stereotypes.
Well, I'm not saying that dwarves don't like cooking, but just like the combination of doing the cooking and the illegal Robin Hood type stuff are both just a little bit less likely that dwarves in general would do it than the other ancestries. But that could be beneficial
in terms of like,
no one would think that dwarf would do this.
Yeah, exactly. So, it really could be.
It really could be any ancestry, and the ancestry is honestly not that important for this concept. So what I think I'm gonna do here is just say you can just fill. I'm just gonna say you can fill in your ancestry.
Yeah,
just we're gonna come up with this character. And then just fill in your ancestry when you use this character.
It looks like no one has a preference.
It's like choose, or it's like add low light.
Chat. Maybe someone actually had an opinion.
Vision or dark vision, depending on ancestry. And then that way you can just add the ancestry later to this character.
Yeah.
I think that kind of works. There's also some suggestions for Katfo, Kitsune, and Isoki. I could see any of them doing this as well, for sure. Really, any of these would work.
So they can hide the cake in their cheeks?
Hide the cake in their cheeks. Do you want to eat it after that? I don't know if I want to eat it after that.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't eat that cake that was been in their cheeks this whole time.
That's kind of disgusting. But what about alchemical allocation though? Like that's pretty much
alchemical allocation was disgusting too.
Yeah, I know, but people totes did that, so.
That's because it was efficient power gaming wise. Alright, I think we can just say that this cook does not necessarily have an ancestry, and then you can add low light vision or dark vision when you choose what ancestry the cook has. The stats are all ones that any ancestry could have come up with.
Fair enough.
So therefore languages varies by ancestry and region. Yes, common varies by ancestry and region. Add 4 more.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, great.
So I know for skills,
so we need some skills.
We need deception.
We've got to have deception and crafting. That's literally the entire concept of this character is that they have crafting and deception. They probably
Better
also
at crafting. They probably are better at crafting for certain.
they probably also
lore.
have to have underworld
Yeah.
lore.
They're probably also better at crafting for like alchemical items and food, or like or do they, well, actually, they probably have medicine too.
I think they
Because they have to have, unless they have like
Yes,
some kind of
'cause
special
they are
ability to
making-
use medicine for that. So yeah.
they're making medicines as well.
Yeah,
So I
need
think
that.
they have medicine. I mean, they may be a chirurgical. Actually, we can just give them just like
Can use crafting for medicine.
yes. And also they should be better at crafting food, kind of like
Yeah.
the seasoned skill feat. But it's like medical crafter, the alchemical cook can use crafting in place of medicine checks and can use crafting or medicine actions
With crafting, I guess.
via crafting as if they were an expert in both skills.
Seems legit.
So that way you can like treat wounds using the expert treat wounds if you need to with their food.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have battle medicine type stuff unless we gave it to them.
That's correct, because that's a skill feat.
Yep.
So we definitely have those skills. Let's see if there are any other skills that people in chat have already asked about. Then I will go through a list of skills. So
oh yeah, nature.
we have some nature, and Nubet mentioned specialty crafting. I'll go one better and use seasoned sort of style thing with where
so
it's
it's
specifically
like
for
food-based,
food.
yeah.
Because weirdly enough, specialty crafting I think didn't list food as one of the options. So then seasoned came out later. So yeah, we can add nature.
Yeah, so then they're gonna be some of that implies that like some of the ingredients that they use they're harvesting and foraging from nature. Exactly.
Yeah, they might have survival as well if they're gonna literally be foraging it.
Yeah. So they have
We
nature
can
and
put that
survival,
in.
crafting, deception.
So they probably need to have society a little bit because
Yeah, so they know what's going on. Socially and not
socially
just
around
completely
them.
in the underworld.
And they might want to have some other charisma based skill to other than lying potentially to get them out of. What do they do when they need to make a deal other than just lie to everyone? Do they like use intimidation or diplomacy? I feel like diplomacy because if they openly used intimidation, it might make people think.
We also have the
they have
the
something
thing that
sketchy
during the
about
day
them.
they're a cook at the tavern and things like that. So.
Yeah, but sometimes cooks can be like really scary and
No,
be like,
they
stay out of the
can.
kitchen. They could be like the intimidating cook.
That's true.
I think it's probably going to be diplomacy over here, but let's see if chat thinks it's diplomacy
While we
or
put
intimidation.
in the season B specialty crafting.
Or if chat thinks, hey, they actually have no negotiation skills.
Also, do they have thievery?
Do they have thievery? That's a good question, right? Can they steal from people? Do they have stealth also for sneaking around? Do they have any of those?
Let's see what chat thinks on that while we put in the...
I'll put in the modifiers for the ones that we already have.
Yeah.
So,
So 15, 13, 11/9 is
and chat was also
low.
saying their deception could arguably maybe even be higher than high.
Yeah.
So, however,
15, 13,
15
11.
is already pretty good. So I'll give 16 in deception as if they had like an item for it. And then crafting can be 16 plus 17 for food.
Yes, makes sense.
Food and drinks, including alchemical food.
All right, and then nature is probably not quite as good. Nature might be 13.
Yeah, nature's gonna be
That would be moderate.
at most 13 for sure, because it would be a good example for moderate. Society can be 14, kind of halfway in between. The survival can be also maybe survival's 11.
11 is because it's low.
It's a little lower, and then
then
underworld
underworld
lore
lore
can be like 12.
Yeah.
So that way we have like 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 16, but actually 17 most of the time.
They're really, really good at that. Because NPCs
They're
can
really,
totally be
really
better
good
than
at
their
that.
level at better than their combat level at things that they're like.
Yes.
really
In
good at.
fact, it's possible that this character's actual ability to do the role that they have is higher than their combat level.
So I think we've determined that 6 is their skill level. What is their...
So we had a few things from diplomacy.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to ask chat. Hey, chat. we said this NPC is level 6. Normally that means their combat capability is level 6. Is there skill capacity for crafting and deceiving and those kind of things, getting away with it? Should that be a higher challenge than the challenge of, like, beating the crap out of them with your axe?
And if so...
If so, then we want to pick a number higher than 6 to actually go back and change some of these.
Unless 6 is supposed to be their medicine level and their fighting level is less than that.
That is also possible. So I'm willing to accept either of those, or just the answer that they're equal in their medicine, or that they're making of the food versus their fighting.
So I think we should do. Maybe
for
we can
now,
quickly check.
For now, let's add diplomacy.
Yeah.
And put it at plus maybe 12.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Wait, it should be odd because the deception guy gained an item bonus. So
so it could be
13.
Yeah. So do we want them to be better at their medicine, or their medicine and skill?
So I'll just put this in here.
Yeah.
So A is level 6 is skills, worse at fighting.
Oh yeah.
B is level 6 is fighting. Better at skills.
Better at skills.
And C is level 6 both.
Fighting and skills.
And by default, what we were asked to do is B. Or C.
Yeah.
Because when we said it was a level 6 character, that meant it was the fighting level. But we could go to A, where actually the level 6 is skills and it's much worse at fighting, which case we will need to redo a little bit of what we've already done.
Yeah, but that's not a problem.
That's easy.
Because people said they wanted level 6,
easy.
but but that was because they wanted to be in a town.
Well, some cases they said it was also for some of the feat access.
Oh, everybody
says A.
Okay.
All right, great.
So that's really
totally
cool.
fine.
Now we can go back
That's
and
easy.
slightly modify.
The only thing we would have to do is maybe their attribute modifier should be worse. That's it. So in that case, I will mess down their physical attributes to 1 and 1 on dexterity and constitution, and call it good.
Yep.
And then on their actual level, I'll put, let's say, 3.
Yeah.
And then be level 6 when dealing with level 6 in dealing with illegal or legal alchemical crafting and sales.
Yes.
And then are any of these skills ones that would not be part of their illegal or legal alchemical crafting and sales? I think they all are, so we'll just leave this.
Yeah, because they don't have and they didn't ever wind up picking up stealth, so the lower dexterity doesn't.
Okay. So in that case, the only thing I'll do is lower their dex and con, and I'll leave the rest because those are all things for social. That also means their will save modifier will be higher, so you can't just intimidate them immediately in a drug deal. That's fine. That's easy to do. So let's take a look at their armor class. So I'm figuring it's probably going to be only moderate, not high. This person is not.
Yeah.
So AC 18.
Especially because their dex and con are both not great, so their defenses are.
Yep, I would say the items are
they need a
alchemical smock.
Yes.
Because they're. And that has statistics of studded leather.
Studded leather, yeah. And then they would have some kind of crafting.
Actually, maybe it's hide because it's a heavy smock.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So then the hide would be kind of 3 and 1.
Yeah, exactly.
And then plus 3 from their.
So wait, yeah, they have plus 3, 13, 15. No, I guess it would be studded leather.
Yeah, for the 18 it would be studded leather, not hide.
Studded leather. There you go.
All right, and then they would need to have their cooking tools.
Yep, they're gonna have fine cooking tools for sure. Actually, the fact that they have fine cooking tools probably puts them at 17, 18 for food and drink. And so they have AC 18 because they're level 3. Then for their saves, we already knew that their physical attributes were not as good, and they also are level 6 for these drug deals. So They probably have like somewhere
think
around
it's
17
17.
will, but then much less.
9 and 6
9
would be
and 6.
what's available
So,
for 3v11.
chat, which are they better in, fortitude or reflex? I'll put a 17 for will, which is really high even under the level 6 comparator, but that such is life.
Oh yeah, ability to create elixirs of 6th level.
Yeah, that's correct. So that would be in their medical crafter. Is that the alchemical cook can craft
food versions
of any
common elixir.
Yes, of any elixir or alchemical food up to 6th level.
As long as they have access to it.
As long as they have access. Yes, because they don't
They
don't
automatically know every food that
They
exists.
don't automatically know every food, but they know the foods that the GM wants them to know because they're an NPC.
Exactly.
That's what we're gonna do.
So
here.
I see better fort and better reflex. Folks are not of the same line.
But the Numbats have reflex, but maybe they boost their fort with their own products. Like that's possible too. Like that they actually had fort because of the fact that they gave themselves enough products that now their fort is a little better than
I guess
you might
it's also
think.
possible that the two of them are pretty similar to each other, and
Yeah,
that will is just really high.
We could have them both be +8.
If we have one person who wants one higher and one person who wants the other higher, that's not.
So they could just both be +8 here. So we have fort +8, reflex +8, will +17.
We can leave that as it is for now, and then if anybody has another opinion in chat to break the tie, then we can adjust from there.
Now looking at hit points, we are combat level of 3, so let's give like 45 hit points. No like resistances or weird.
Yeah, so we got moderate hit
stuff.
points and moderate AC, which is like not the best defended person, but that's kind of what you would expect for someone who has this kind of stuff.
That's right. And then they would have like a variety of alchemical items. So they would have like various food-based elixirs
and medicines, probably.
And medicines. Plus possibly some lower level alchemical bombs.
Yeah.
So let's see, what kind of alchemical bombs can we do? We could do like I think lesser, because those are level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can have some like lesser alchemist fire and bottled lightning. Lesser alchemist fire and lesser
bottled lightning for when they really have to defend themselves.
That's right. And going back to our hit points, now we can do our strength.
So I'm thinking they probably have a dagger at least as one of their weapons, because you need a dagger is just practical for like cutting up ingredients and things like that.
They probably have a dagger and like a ladle.
Yeah.
As their weapons, in addition to the alchemical bombs.
So maybe the ladle is like the dagger is like agile and things like that. So maybe is the ladle like a heavier weapon?
It might be.
It's not agile, but hits a little harder.
So for the alchemical bombs, maybe the alchemical bombs are +10, but the dagger is +8, and the ladle is also +8. And so maybe the ladle is just 1d6 bludgeoning and is not agile, whereas the dagger is agile.
And they both be finesse.
Yep. And the dagger is agile and is 1d4 piercing, and dagger is versatile slashing, thrown 10 feet.
Yep.
Not gonna do the separate range line. We all know that it's the same modifier, and we can throw it 10 feet.
Yep.
Alchemical bomb. Oh, I already have that up there. It's
bomb.
+10.
And then damage varies.
Damage varies.
Yep.
All right, great. So, and then we do +0. So our actual damage for 3 is supposed to be low of 8, and it is much lower than that for the ladle and the dagger. So,
So does she have poison?
yeah, I think that they have
Or do
poison.
they have poison? Yeah.
Yes. So, poison weapon.
And that could have poison damage.
The
then.
alchemical cook can apply simple poisons to their dagger and ladle. These deal 1d6 persistent poison damage on the next successful attack.
So at this point, you deal below low damage,
it's
and you
still
have to take
below
2
low
actions
damage,
to do it.
and you had to take 2 actions to do it. They usually have both
Weapons
prepared
yeah.
in advance if they're expecting a fight.
Yeah.
Now the bombs do a little bit better than low damage, maybe. No, they're actually still gonna be around low damage.
Yeah,
so we probably put like
here.
we probably give them like calculated splash.
Yeah.
The alchemical cooks bombs deals 4 splash damage instead of 1.
Yep.
Or it's 4 splash damage if it's higher than the normal amount.
The normal amount, yes.
Yes. So in that case, with the 4 splash damage, the alchemical bombs are actually pretty decent damage, and they have moderate accuracy, which is not the greatest accuracy, but they are range.
What's their damage then?
It's gonna be like for the alchemical fire, it'll be 11, which is slightly above almost high damage plus persistent fire damage, plus it's at range.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Which is not that wild and outrageous.
Yeah.
The problem is just when they run out of the bombs, they are very bad at fighting. But they also have a huge number of elixirs because they're kind of a healing type character. And as Rohit points out, the bombs also inflict status elements. Absolutely.
Oh, people are talking about like skunk bombs, pernicious.
Yeah, I don't really necessarily want to put in skunk bombs because they're kind of OP compared to other bombs, and so it might be unfair for the PCs to have to deal with them, since on Splash they do like a really debilitating effect to everything that even gets splashed by them.
What do they do to the splash?
Let's see.
Oh, it's fortitude or sicken in the splash area.
And possibly blinded and slowed.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is really unfun for the party if they all can get hit by that. And I probably wouldn't put it on really any kind of character that I think that would have to be faced by a group of people. In general.
But I think that in terms of the conditions, though, there may be other
There are some good ones that aren't skunk bomb that we could that we could
sticky
take a
algae
look
and pernicious spore, are those specific ones that exist too?
They are. I haven't looked at them though. Let's see. So that one of them is from Rage of Elements, so it's like a poison one that does
poison splash damage and then leaves a trail, yeah.
And then leaves a trail. That's kind of an interesting one. Isn't there like also a more basic poison bomb as well in like which one is like the basic poison bomb? I remember there was one that's in an easier to find source. Blight bomb, yeah, that's right. I think it's pretty similar to the both of them are very legit. Yeah, the Blight Bomb is very similar as well. So that one would be 2d6 poison with 2d4 persistent poison. So Blight Bomb is very good. I think that's on theme. So we can add some Blight Bombs.
Maybe instead of the lightning? Because fire is used in cooking.
Fire is used in cooking, but I feel like bottled lightning is just useful to have.
Fair enough.
Also, they would potentially freeze things in cooking.
Sticky,
so
though?
the ice
talking
one.
About like a sticky
yeah,
one,
sticky
too?
Substances might be used. No, that was the sticky algae bomb.
Oh,
we changed it to Blight Bomb. Because that's just an easier...
Because then it can be in core, right?
It's also... Yeah, it's in core, so it's easier
is that in core 2 at this point, maybe?
I think so.
know.
I think
it was
is.
an APG, so we're just looking at Nethys.
Whereas
at this point.
the Spore
So-
Bomb is definitely also a poison one, so it's pretty similar, but it does some interesting things about the spaces becoming difficult terrain. Definitely a cool one, though it's from an AP, so it may be a harder to use source. However, I do think both the Spore and the Algae are very good ones to add. And if your group is playing like more high optimization with some of the stuff that's like a little higher tuned, and or you think that your players are okay with possibly getting really sickens by splash multiple times per round, that for your high optimization group means you may want to put in skunk bombs all the way.
Yeah. Especially if you don't expect that this NPC will use all of them, and then you want to get them later.
Yeah, but you can use all of them on the first round.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you miss, they
Yeah.
all have to roll their fortitude
You're
save
right. So
every
probably
time.
there wouldn't be any left because we start with those because they're really good. Anyway.
Yep.
And then like you've got like goo grenade or glue bomb. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those
So-
are cool ones too.
So there's a lot of options. Like anytime you make an alchemist, you kind of just have to decide like what for your group do you want to have, and this is also going to have to deal with like. I guess that's an advantage of giving them a lot of them is that there's good guarantee to be some left.
Yeah.
at the end.
So I'm gonna give them
For the
just
PC
these 9 for now, but given that we said various elixirs, feel free to adjust their bombs to a different set of bombs than this.
Yeah, whatever works for you, whatever your group thinks is cool.
We
I
made
like the idea of sticking with ones that are like core.
Yeah,
Just for ease?
for ease, but all of the other poison ones that Rohit mentioned are really interesting, and they
Awesome.
all have their own use case.
So what else do we have for our NPC here?
Okay, so the other things that we have for our NPC are we want to have DCs, although I think
We
we
don't have
didn't
anything that's
pick anything that
specifically
goes against
DC
DCs, so we don't have to
based,
worry
right? So
about
we're
that
fine
yet.
on DCs.
We
don't have any
also
innate spells
need to
or
think
things
about
like
do
that.
we have any special abilities other than
Other
the
than
medical
the
crafter
crafting
ability and the calculated splash? We might not, and
What
poison
about
weapon, we
quick
might
draw?
not need
The
one.
quick draw one for your
Oh
bombs.
yeah,
What was that
yeah,
one called
yeah,
again?
yeah. So we'll just call it
Quick
quick
bomber.
bomber.
Yep.
One action. The alchemical cook
Mm-hmm.
interacts to draw a bomb and then strikes with the bomb.
Yep. You kind of need that if you're going to be a bomber.
Yep.
Of any type.
I think that those actions, given that this is a level 3 character, maybe
Yeah.
that's enough actions.
Because the medical crafter handles the ability to use crafting in place of medicine and crafting all the food items.
Absolutely.
And how that kind of works is like you translate. I guess we also, instead of saying crafting elixirs as foods, do we technically say that they can craft food items that already
I think I did say that. I think they said that they can craft food items, any elixir, or
That's-
alchemical
oh,
food,
yeah, food
up
versus-
to 6
okay, got
levels
it,
as
got
long
it.
as they
So we do
have
have-
access.
So we do have that.
So yes, if you want to make things that are already alchemical foods, like the ones from Grand Bazaar, you can go for it. Honestly, if you want to be really nice to them, maybe they could make magical foods. I'll do it. Alchemical or magical food.
Yeah,
Even
so-
though the magical food is magic, this is an NPC. They could have had magical crafting.
Yeah.
They might as well.
And that also means
I think
that...
that some of the
yeah.
ones in Grand Bazaar are magical.
Yeah,
so.
and also, like, maybe that means that your PCs can, one more thing for the items, recipe book.
Oh yeah, recipe book.
Because the PCs
Gotta
would
have a
definitely
recipe
want
book.
to have that available, and if they're, like, a friendly NPC, they might be willing to share their recipes with folks.
Absolutely. So obviously, will save perception and skills are just through the roof because we said it's a level 6 threat for those particular situations. But 3 and 6 are at least closer than like the judge who you can just beat up in a fight, but that if you actually are in a court case is like.
But I think like it's
many
fine
levels
for the
higher.
judge because like it's very obvious to the PCs that like if you go up and stab the judge, then like the government is really gonna have a problem.
They're
with
gonna
it.
throw the book at you.
Yep.
Ranged strike.
Range
book.
strike book.
The
Boom.
book. All right. So yeah, we did it.
Mhm.
We built this NPC, and so we made a genericized version. Sometimes
Oh,
on
Rohit
this.
points out the bombs require a save.
Oh yeah. So I think we didn't pick ones that did. That was what I was worried about. That's why I was actually looking, but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Blight Bomb doesn't. If we had chosen a different bomb that did require a save, then that was what we'd have to look out for. But that's persistent. We happened to pick ones with persistent damage or a off guard.
Oh,
So
yeah, okay.
we partially strategically avoided needing to have that set.
But if you did need a DC,
but if you did need a DC, I would probably give them like. It's actually very tough, which is why another reason it's very good that we didn't do that.
Because you have to decide kind of based on the power of the effect whether it should be.
I think their DCs should be based on level 6 because if this person makes a poison, their plot device ability is a level 6 crafter. So they even literally can. Oh wait, we should probably list poisons since they're medicines, not just elixirs. So elixir, poison. Yeah. So if they make a level 6 poison, which they literally can, it will by default have the level 6 poison DC, even if you didn't have an ability to use their own DC if it's higher. Yeah. But you know what? We could just put that in here for just for the sake of ease. So where are our building creature DCs? So building creature DCs.
They're near the bottom of the things that have charts.
Okay, so that's area damage. So it should be just above area damage. So there we go. Let's give them the high DC of 24. So then we'll just say here they can use a DC of 24 instead of the DC for any of these items if it is higher.
Yeah.
Now, that means their bombs if they did get a bomb with a DC, did not use the DC of 24.
That's correct. So that way, like, you have to actually ingest the substance to have to deal with the higher DC, and that's part of that broader challenge. But if they have a DC bomb, then they would use the DC for level 3,
which is much lower. No, they wouldn't even use that.
Yeah.
They would use whatever DC was listed on the bomb.
The bomb's
the
DC,
default DC. Because
the bomb would have a DC.
They don't have any ability to raise the bomb's DC. And that way, you can split the difference. So if you do switch out for a skunk bomb and they're fighting them in combat at level 3, they don't have to beat level 6 DCs on that skunk bomb. It will still be the default level 3. So I think we threaded the needle here.
The poison that they use in combat is like a
persistent.
Is a persistent poison. It's not one of those specific ones. So the GM would have to like decide. I'm actually going to add this higher level poison in combat.
Actually, I'm going to actually write ingested before the poison.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that they can only make ingested poisons into a food.
Yeah. That prevents.
Because why would you be able to make inhaled poison as a food?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that way, they also can't poison their weapons and then stab you during the combat with things that are outsized.
So, this is a genericized version of the NPC. It doesn't have a name on this NPC like we did for our Marigna crafter, who is a very specific Marigna she was young and she wanted to craft some things.
Or an ancestry or a gender, any of these other details.
So, it doesn't have gender or ancestry. You can pick those. And then you can just change it. Be like, oh, this one's a goblin. It has dark vision. So, it is basically more like the NPCs from the Game Mastery Guide, where it's just like, this is the alchemical cook.
Yeah,
and you can use
also
this.
Like the way we built this is a little more similar to that in the way that the Game Mastery Guide ones were more like, this is if they were a human, and here's the details to change around if they have other things. So
absolutely.
So
we will put this, as always, for those of you who are watching the show, on the Arcane Mark channel for workshops.
Right.
In fact, not only will we put it in that channel, we've
have
already done it, you see.
Indeed.
So, in that case, let's move on from building an NPC into voting for our next episode of Arcane Mark.
I didn't see any votes for that coming up already, because I think folks know that it can be a little confusing when they're voting for both episodes.
Well, I changed it to numbers because I used letters during the episode.
Or I think you used letters during the episode because it was numbers.
Yes, because the numbers were up already.
So, folks, we have Build a Hazard Workshop, Ask Arcane Mark, Game Design Q&A, Design Diaries, Wondrous Weapons, which wouldn't just be about magical weapons, but about weapons in general in games.
Designing different weapons.
Arcane Mark Plays, or Other. Looks like the weapons
famous Other
have gained an early lead.
Yes. It'll be hard to beat the weapons at this point, but maybe a concerted effort by those who want to...
Oh, no, there's a third weapon. I think
weapon is basically got this.
Absolutely.
Basically, everyone who's watching right now would have to, like, pile in onto something else.
And
they didn't. It's weapons.
Half people want weapons.
Okay, so we're definitely doing Design Diaries, Wondrous Weapons.
There's a lot of things we can talk about with this in terms of everything from, like, the fast, pokey weapons to the big, slow, clunky weapons and the different ways that systems can represent those and have them be balanced with each other.
Absolutely.
one hand, one hand versus two hand, range versus melee, special abilities, all kinds of stuff.
So people have been saying, and we've also experienced this sometimes too, that sometimes our volume on the live streams that were live on YouTube was weirdly lower than when that was live on Twitch.
Is it better today?
Has it been better today? Everybody who's been watching, you stuck through to the end. So I'm gonna ask you that.
We did try some things to
give some more
to try to fix it before this.
We
show.
think it's better, but you might not. So what do you guys think? Is it working well? Is it popping now that we put it up? Because it has been at the point.
Up the game, yeah.
It has been at the point where sometimes people needed to like put it at 100% volume in order to hear us clearly on previous times. Volume has been excellent. Great. All right, that is excellent in turn.
And if you're watching this not live and you are having any issues with the audio, then please let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely. And join if you're interested in getting some emojis and early access. Saturday's episode, we are going to do a table talk about the Cosmere RPG, which we have play tested. And we're going to do a little more play testing because the group avoided every combat in the pre-published adventure. So we're gonna do the combats
we did
as
the
if
friendship
they've
run.
not done the friendship run.
Yes.
And
so
then,
I will take on the role of every character in the combat that is on the player side, and Mark will take on the role of every character in the combat that's on the GM side, and we'll test it out.
Yep, we'll test that out too. We'll let you know on Saturday, and on Tuesday we will do Wondrous Weapons. All right. So take care, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.